I'm not really sure why I'm going into the effort of trying to show this product off again. I've already shown you in the teaser, showing you how good it looks. The chances are you're watching this because you want to know how to install it yourself. So, let's just get to that. Now, these are just the tools that the instruction manual is going to be suggesting that you have on hand. You're not necessarily going to be using all of those. I know we didn't. For suckers. Hold on, we gotta see that. I'm like, that's awesome. Nice. Holy mackerel, that thing is damn pretty. Now let's talk a moment about the wiring that they provide for this topper, and they have made it very dummy proof. Everyone has a particular label on it that indicates what it is for and where it's supposed to go. I love that a lot. Okay, it's time to start digging into the back box. So you're going to need to remove your back glass and open up your light panel to access where you see the air vents on the very top of your back box. And this is where you're going to use your 1/4-inch nut driver to remove the very far screw like so. And this will give you the ability to feed the wires from the back box to the topper. Feed all of the cables that they provided through the very far hole like this. The amount of cable slack can always be adjusted later on. Don't get sloppy with cable management, guys. Feed the wires all the way through the wire looms down into the bottom of the cabinet. Now, in order to make sure that this topper is securely mounted to your machine, you're going to need to remove a couple of bolts on the top of your cabinet. And when I say a couple, I mean a couple on both sides. You should be able to unscrew the nuts from the inside of the cabinet and then push the bolt through the top. So now it's time to securely mount this baby to your machine. Start by inserting one bracket and 2 of the bolts provided in your package into the cabinet. Now place the topper on top of your machine and slide it underneath the bracket. You may now use the provided nuts and tighten down the bracket to your cabinet. Once that side's tightened down, you may now place the other bracket on the other side and tighten it down. And now your TZ topper is securely mounted to your machine. Let's get started on the wiring. Start by raising your playfield up to this position. Find all of the wiring that you fed through earlier, and then you're going to need to push it a little bit closer to the coin door so you're able to access all of these cables when you lift the playfield up like this. At this point, go ahead and run the power cable to the topper all the way to your service outlet of your game. The first module that we're going to be connecting is the gumball machine. This is the node board that drives your gumball machine. Find the red and black wire. Place the red and black wire inside of this connector labeled gumball. Place the red wire on top, black wire on bottom. Once they are in position, clamp it down. If done properly, then your gumball machine is connected to the topper. Now let's install the clock. It's going to be a rinse and repeat from what we just did with the gumball machine, but utilizing this node board down here. We found removing the connector from the node board gave us more room to work with. But just like the gumball machine, red wire on top, black wire on bottom. Once in position, clamp it down, reinsert the connector back onto the node board. And now your clock is fully functional with your topper. Next up is lighting up the door on your topper. And in order to accomplish this, we're going to be utilizing the light board that lights up the particular door insert. Find the red with a black stripe and yellow with a green stripe. The red wire with the black stripe will be going on top, and the yellow with a green stripe will be going on the bottom. Clamp it down. And now the door on your topper will illuminate. One more to go, and this might get a little tricky for some of you guys, because you may not be accustomed to seeing what you're about to utilize, and that is a photo sensor that's going to be detecting whenever your general illumination is on. You're going to be feeding this particular wire through the playfield up underneath one of your plastics. And how this works is whenever your GI bulbs turn on, that sensor will detect light and it will illuminate your topper. If your general illumination lights turn off, then your topper lights will also turn off. We're going to be feeding it through this area right here. Now, this photo sensor is not going to be clamped onto anything to make sure it doesn't accidentally fall back through your playfield. So that's when you're going to need to use the zip ties that are included with your package to zip tie the lines together so the wires won't just come loose and fall through the playfield. Now you can lower your playfield back down, and we are going to be connecting all the wires that we fed through earlier and connect them to the topper. There will be a total of 3 cables, one for power, one for right, one for left. It's pretty straightforward. R means right, it goes on the right. L means left, it goes on the left. The model that we're using for this installation is a prototype, so you're seeing power off and on buttons back there. Those will not be on the production release topper. Once you plug in these 3 connectors, you're essentially done. So now it's time to test your work. Now keep in mind that in order for that ball to continuously feed on your topper, your machine needs to be at an angle of 6.2 to 7.2 degrees. That is what the spec calls for. Go into your game settings and test out the gumball machine feature. As the machine runs through its test for the gumball machine, you should also see the little pinball on your topper go around. All the other features you should be able to acknowledge that they work when powering on your machine, because that is one of the things that your machine does, is moves the clock, as well as general illumination and lighting up the insert that lights up the door on your topper. Congratulations, you now have a beautiful topper for your Twilight Zone pinball machine. And let me just add that it's nice to see that we have more people getting into this hobby that are giving us things that we are lacking. For a machine like Twilight Zone that has so much in it, it's only right that we should give it a topper that's also got a lot in it. I think one thing that's going to attract a lot of people, including myself, to this topper is that it's mechanical in nature. I mean, we're accustomed to seeing layered plastics and it light up and stuff like that. That's almost on every topper. But what you don't see is toppers being more mechanical. And this topper brings that. By having the habit trail and the 5/8 steel ball that goes around, as well as the clock that corresponds with the clock inside your game, that's a lovely touch. And the price point for this particular topper is on par, if not slightly lower than what we see from our major manufacturers. And something else is nice is that it's not going to be limited. So for those of you out there with a Twilight Zone machine, then eventually you will be able to have this topper as well. It's not limited to 500 or 1,000 or whatever. If you sign up for it, put down your deposit, they come out in batches. Eventually you will get this topper for your game. For those watching it before Texas Pinball Festival of 2023, by all means, come see it in action this weekend. And for the rest of you, I hope this video will assist you in your installation and maybe even make a decision on whether or not this is a topper you want to put on top of your game. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, peace out.